Hi, family, and welcome back to our Thinking Tanks Tuesday with me, Zoliswa or XhosaChick. So, welcome, family. And yeah, as you all know, on Thinking Tanks Tuesday, what we do is we look at current affairs, we look at online trading news, we look at news which are making a buzz around. And yeah, so family, as you can hear, I'm not sure if you can hear, but I'm not feeling well again. So I've been down with the flu, and yeah, this is me trying to do the most while I'm being sick because I am a day behind with my recording of this Thinking Thanks Tuesday. But anyway, we shall continue. So family, I'm not sure if I'm having allergic reaction or what, but from this weekend until now, it was even worse from Monday and Tuesday. But today, at least I can talk. So I don't know whether it's a changing of season allergic reaction or maybe we're looking at another COVID brewing. Maybe I'm patient zero. I'm joking, people. I just think it's an allergic reaction, but I've been down. It's my nose, it's my head, I've got headaches, I've got blocked nose, I've got itchy throat, you name it, nothing tastes nice, everything tastes like cardboard. So family, for today as we start, as you all know, we've got our usual news, and I think on our usual news for this week, we don't have much going on. As you all know, first of all, we're going to look at the hijacked buildings and so on. So this video, which we're gonna put up, it's from Eyewitness News, and then I think the video did justice with the whole hijacked building. So hopefully I'll put the video somewhere when it comes to the hijacked building news, and then you can hear for yourself what's been happening with the hijacked buildings. And the reason why hijacked buildings are on the spotlight now, it's because of what happened in that building, in that I forgot what's the name of the place now, of the building which burned down, of the hijacked building which burned down, and over 70 people which burned to death as well in the building. So ever since then, there's been a lot of focus on hijacked buildings. The government has been doing their things, checking, arresting, closing down buildings, cutting off electricity in certain buildings, and so on. So that's what's been happening with the hijacked buildings ever since the Marshville town, I think it's the Marshville town building fire. So yes, and also there has been other fires going around the certain buildings, but we're not sure what's the cause of those fires, and we're not there. Okay, and then from the fire, the building. So I did say we're gonna put a video which will discuss more, and then. I don't know, on the side of the, okay, we know that Mangosuthu Buthelezi, Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi, as we said, passed away last week, and then on Saturday he was laid to rest, and yeah, his funeral was attended by the who's and who's of the political industry, and even more so, it was your typical what you call it, diplomatic funeral like any other. So that's what was happening on Saturday. You had, everybody was there. Let me just say that the president was there, and also half of, if not most of the Zulu who's and who's were also there, and the politics who's and who's were also there. And we move on to the next topic. And then Mangosuthu's funeral, we know it was this past weekend. On the coup in Africa, there's nothing much happening now, ever since I checked. There was nothing really out of the ordinary. And then I don't know what happened last week, but on the Zuma private prosecution, I think it was supposed to have been last week, but I don't know how we missed it. And yeah, let me see. We also we also will do that the Zuma private prosecution, which we missed out last week. And also we know there's the Rugby World Cup going on, and there's the United Nations General Assembly where President Cyril Ramaphosa was giving a speech. That's what's been happening as well around the world. It's your UNGA, which is taking place in New York, and yeah. And the story which really caught our eyes this week is the Eastern Cape mother and 3 children which were being laid to rest following alleged suicide and triple murder. So what happened is this: apparently there's a lady. The woman allegedly poisoned her 4 children with aluminum phosphide, also known as a tank pill, before taking her own life. Before taking her own life, and one of the children survived the ordeal. And they still don't know what was the motives behind these murders and suicide. And the one child which survived is a 13-year-old, which is now under supervision of social service. She survived by playing dead when the mother was killing the others or killing them. Okay, so that has brought a lot of questions, because this thing of mothers killing themselves and also killing their children is not a new thing, especially in the Eastern Cape, because apparently there was the case of another woman which was which killed 4 children, and then there was also another one which was in Butterworth also, which killed a child as well. And then there's now this one from Port St. John's. It says Eastern Cape mother and 3 children being laid to rest following alleged suicide and triple murder. Funeral of a 35-year-old woman and her 3 children held in Jabavu locality in Port St. John's. So this one is from Port St. John's. As I said, the first, second, and third. The first and the second there was the Ngobo 4, and then there was another one which I think was last month or something from Butterworth. So it says from Port St. John's in the Eastern Cape, the woman allegedly poisoned her 4 children with, as I told you, with what is known as a tank pill, but it's also known as a phosphide, aluminium phosphide. That's what it's known as. So that brings question, because most people are expecting this is all because of poverty and so on. So most women, when they feel hopeless and they don't know what to do, they feel it's better when they take their lives and the children's lives, because they believe that when they pass away, there'll be nobody to look after their children. So the best way is to kill the children and then commit suicide. So most people do suspect poverty in all of these matters which are happening. And then we move from the Eastern Cape, story of the mother which committed suicide and killed her children. The Zoom private prosecution. Okay, let's just get into the stories. We already did a brief on most of the stories, which I don't know which ones we're gonna do next. So on the Zuma's private prosecution says Zuma has lost two appeal bids. The former president application for the former president's application for leave to appeal a high court ruling that rejected his bid to privately prosecute Cyril Ramaphosa has been dismissed with cost. Was dismissed with cost, and also he also lost another appeal bid in the case against prosecutor Billy Downer and journalist Karen Morgan. So that was what last week was. My president was appealing left, right, and center, and he was losing all the appeal bids, and they were being dismissed with costs and you name it. So that's what was happening with Zuma's private prosecutions. They all were dismissed, and some were even dismissed with cost, and that was our last week's news. And then on Senzo Meyiwa this week, on Senzo Meyiwa, as we all know, last week we were busy with the last week the court adjourned early after one of the accused fell ill, and then this week now what we know is we know that the matter has been postponed till the 2nd of October. Okay, so there's I don't know whether it's a postponement or there's a recess. It's a court recess till the 2nd of October. Because as much as there was a postponement, most of the lawyers were asking for some time to go through the evidence, which the evidence was photographs and so on. So it says here, the court adjourned early after one of the accused fell ill. So we know that one. That was where we left off last week as well, remember? And then it says, okay, Zungu earlier testified that he was in the company of all five of the accused during a get-together hosted by his nephew on that fateful day. Okay, we remember also last week when we were talking about Constable Zungu saying that he was in the presence of all the five accused in a get-together, and there was even a gun or two guns. I don't know, one of the guns, I wasn't even sure whether it was the constable's gun, which was also flying around them, get-together, and then the constable was the one which was saying that two of the accused or three of the accused came back looking shocked and scary and carrying guns and so on. So we remember that says Zungu earlier testified that he was in the company of all the five of the accused during a get-together hosted by his nephew on that fatal day. Okay, lawyer for accused 1 and 2, advocate Sipho Ramosipele, has reopened his cross-examination in the High Court in Pretoria. This follows an earlier ruling by Judge Ratha Mukhatleng that no other statement exists of state witness Constable Sizwe Zungu except the one currently before the court. The defense lawyers had said that there was a handwritten and typed statement. There was a handwritten and typed statement. So here, apparently, there's a. Zungu said there was currently before the court that defense lawyer said that there was a handwritten and typed. So the judge says that there is no other statement which exists, and then the lawyer says there is a handwritten and a typed statement somewhere. So we all know 5 men are on trial for the murder of the Bafana soccer star who was shot and killed in Vosloorus, east of Johannesburg in 2014. Ramosepele has questioned Zungu regarding his service pistol while he was at a party and consuming alcohol at the Basutu hostel. So yeah, I remember last week as we said that there was a whole confusion but there was two guns and I wasn't sure whether was the other gun belonging to the constable. So apparently yes, the second gun which was there showing and flying around, it was the constable's gun. And now we move on to our next story. So we already buried Mangosuthu, we already talked about Zuma's private prosecution. So on the Dr. Nandi and Besta saga this week, there's absolutely nothing going on because we know that she lost her bail bit last week, and then yeah. And then Libyan floods. So there was floods in Libya. Let's see. So, as many as says Libyan floods, as many as 20,000 people feared may have died in the flooding that devastated northern Libya. So it says a half a year of rain. It rained in just a few hours. There was no warning. There was no evacuations which could have been done. So yeah, this time around, remember last week we had an earthquake, and then this week somewhere in Libya they are having floods. So that's what's happening in Libya. So hopefully they will get the help that they need. And on the African coup, there's not really nothing really happening. And then we've got the Rugby on the news. We've got the Rugby World Cup. On the Rugby World Cup, it says South Africa break record for fastest ever try bonus points. Pool B encounter against Romania scored 4 tries within 11 minutes. So South Africa had a good time beating Romania, and they even managed to break record for the fastest ever try bonuses. So that's what's happening in the Rugby World Cup. We've got South Africa doing very well. And yeah, so we've done Senzo, which is there's nothing happening in Senzo. We know that they've been postponed till the 2nd of October. We know that Nandi Pamakutumani, there's nothing going on in that case yet because they all must come back, I think, somewhere now in October. Mangosuthu Buthelezi has been buried. Farewell to him. He was laid to rest. On the coup in Africa, there's nothing much going on, still the stalemate. And then we did say something out on the Zuma private prosecution, how he lost and some with cost, and how his bit was dismissed, some with cost. And then on the Libyan floods, we've got over 20,000 people which are feared to be dead because of the floods. In the Rugby World Cup, South Africa seems to be doing well, and yeah. And then with the hijacked buildings, we're gonna put the eyewitness news stories, which actually explains what really is happening with the hijacked building somewhere here. And we know that our President Ramaphosa is with the United Nations General Assembly, which was giving his speech there about Africa, what is Africa doing, and what role we can play in the international stage, and so on, and stop looking like the poor little country, the poor little continent which is begging, but everybody is coming to exploit Africa. And then they could still say Africa is poor, Africa is the third world, but they get their diamonds, they get the golds, they get all the flippin' minerals from Africa. And the problem is just the African leaders don't even know how to manage African resources. That's why we are being taken for it. Anyway, that's the United Nations General Assembly talks which are happening in New York. And then also the sad news about the Eastern Cape mothers committing suicide and killing their babies, or if they're not committing suicide and killing their babies, they just killing the babies, because we do blame poverty for that one. And I think If I lift, oh, oh gosh, and then I know we don't do entertainment, but what can we say? Here we are. And then also what happened in the courts today, I think yesterday, Jackie Pamutse, oh sorry, sorry, oh gosh, Jackie Pamutse was actually found guilty of criminal defamation for tweets. So you do not tweet what you like, people. That's one of the reason why I'm mentioning this case. This is one of the first cases where a certain high oh gosh, certain high profile individuals were trying to clear their names in this whole mess of I tweet what I like, where people can just think and tweet, or they can just suck something out of their thumbs and just write it about people's names. So this has been going on for the past 5 years. There's been court hearings and so on. So it all started with a tweet. So this is one of the historical judgments in South Africa where you need to be careful on what you write on your social medias, especially about people. You can't defame somebody's character online and think that's all fine. And yeah, as long as when you've got your say, you are famous or you are training for that 2 minutes. So she did say really, uh, I don't want to put it in a bad way. She did really say nasty things. She said nasty things about couple a certain couple, and then that backfired her, because even when she was given certain orders by the court, she didn't follow. And then that's one of the cases she is facing. I don't know if she's already been okay. So all in all, what it says is that you need to be careful what you say about people online. You can smear campaign a person or defamate a person's name online and think that it's fine. You can get away with it for your 2 minutes of fame. So this Jackie Pamutse's case is one of the few cases which are going to be referrals when it comes to law and when it comes to what you need to how you need to conduct yourself or what you need to write online. You mustn't go with let's trend today, because trending can put you in so much trouble. So yeah, family, that's how we ended this trending news and so on, by having Jackie Pamutsa's name trending for all the wrong reasons, and she has been called, now every blogger has said something about her, and now she was called out by the NPA that actually she was lying about the people's name. Whatever she said about those people was not true. And because also the other thing is, we never saw. Okay, the tweet was referring, what she got in trouble with, she was referring to a video, but the problem is I don't remember seeing the video, hearing that the video surfaced anyway. So it's like she was the one which was just trying to make up a story about the couple or the couple's lifestyle, and which turned out bad for her. So yeah, family, so we need to be careful what we say about people online, because it's very expensive to pay somebody's name. Believe you me, we don't want to go and meet somebody claim to clear up their names. So family, we won't be long for today. I think we've covered all the stories which we can, and whatever we didn't get through this week, as you can see, I'm not feeling well. I'm not sure whether it's the changing of season, but at least from our our usual suspects. We don't have much going on. And yeah, family, that was all for today. We're gonna keep it nice and short, and we'll see each other again next week. Thank you for all the love, the support, and the growth on this channel. I really, really appreciate it. And please don't forget to share, recommend, and if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. I really, really appreciate the love, and we shall see each other again next week. Hopefully, I'll be feeling fine. I'll be on top of my game. We're doing breaking news. We see who's falling on their sword with remorse, or we see who's been lying. Oh gosh, it's so wrong. So, yeah, family, as I said, our president is in the United Nations General Assembly talking about how Africa is able and so on. And
Betty Street, and this is in the inner city of Johannesburg. There are 8 buildings in the street that have been hijacked and are illegally connected to the electricity grid, costing city power in excess of 14 million rand. That 8 of these buildings on Betty Street are owing the city. Now, the city claim that one revelation that came out today was that lawyers are involved in the hijacking of these buildings. And how they do this, it's quite clever in the sense that they go to the deeds office and they pay off someone that works in the deeds office who changes the details of the actual owner of the building and puts in the wrongful details of someone else. Therefore, these committees that hijack these buildings then question the actual owner, saying, you're not the owner of this building, but the deeds, according to the deeds office, we've got another name on here. And that's how these buildings become hijacked. Now, the city, the MMC for Public Safety, gave us a little bit of information of how they're actually tracking down certain lawyers and they're building up dossiers in terms of who are involved in these organized syndicates of hijacking buildings. It goes very deep. It goes quite high up in terms of involving officials and police officers, from what our sources tell us. But at the end of the day, this is not going to stop until City Power, the city of Johannesburg, can get a grip on the culprits or the mafia-style people that are involved in hijacking these buildings. For Eyewitness News, I'm Oren Singh in Joburg's inner city.